All right, folks, the NFL regular season is in the books, and we are on to the playoffs. There are only 14 teams remaining in this season, and there are only 13 games left in this NFL season. And I wanted to go through some winners and losers of Week 18 because I thought there were some teams that really helped their chances in the playoffs. I thought there were some teams that really hurt it. So number one, Baker Mayfield. I thought Baker Mayfield was awesome yesterday. I thought the Bucs were going to beat the Saints coming into this week, but without Baker Mayfield, they do not do it. Penalties were killing the Bucs all day. It seemed like they really got off to a slow start, and I thought Baker really carried that team. He made so many big plays, and it felt like anytime they were in third and long, he had a big run with his legs to either get a first down or get him close enough to go for it on fourth down. He made a ton of big throws, and I thought he was the best player on the field yesterday, and I've been impressed with Baker Mayfield all year long, and I thought he just had a tremendous season, and the Bucs get in the playoffs. Number two, Bo Nix. Now, the Chiefs were playing some sort of version of their second and third stringers. The competition wasn't really long, wasn't really great. They ran a very vanilla game plan the entire game, but the Broncos went and absolutely blasted the Chiefs, and I was super impressed with Bo Nix. Now, he's not as big as Josh Allen, but I thought yesterday he looked really similar to Josh Allen, the way he could run the ball about any time he wanted to. He had over 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and he was their leading rusher, and I thought it was his best game I've ever seen him play. I was really impressed with Bo Nix, and he gets him in the playoffs. Great accomplishment for a rookie quarterback, and I thought he was awesome yesterday. Number three, the Bills. The Bills lost yesterday in a meaningless game, but I can tell you that no team wanted to play the Bengals in the playoffs less than the Buffalo Bills. If the Bengals got in the playoffs, they were going to Buffalo the first round, and I can guarantee you the Bills were hoping that did not happen. There is no team more relieved than the Bills that the Bengals are not in the playoffs, and so I put them on my winners list. Number four, the Lions. The Lions get an enormous win last night versus the Vikings. They get the 1 seed, and a stat they showed on Sunday Night Football, 76% of all Super Bowls have had at least one seed in it. So getting the 1 seed greatly helps their chances. Gibbs was awesome yesterday. He had 4 touchdowns, 170 total yards, but in the first 2.5 quarters of that game, I thought the Vikings played really well outside of Sam Darnold missing a few throws. Their defense was playing really well. They kind of had the Lions under control. They were inside the 10-yard line 3 times, but only came away with 6 total points out of that. And I thought the Vikes were playing really well. And then the Lions just turned on the gas, and they really took it to the Vikings in the second half. So getting that 1 seed is enormous. And the last one, Chargers. Chargers get a big win yesterday. The Raiders, obviously not a very good team, but they get a win, and now they go to Houston. They're going to play the Texans instead of the Ravens, and I think the Chargers are going to win that game. That was a big win for them to go for that 5 seed and go to Houston as opposed to Baltimore. Now they get that 5 seed, and I think they're going to beat the Texans next week. Losers. I thought the Packers were the biggest loser of the weekend. They lose, the Commanders win, and now they have to go to Philadelphia. And I think that's the best game of the first round of the playoffs, Green Bay at Philadelphia. But to me, I thought that the cards fell poorly for them, the way things fell the past couple weeks. That was the last place I think Green Bay wanted to go in the opening round was to Philadelphia. But they're the 7th seed, and they're going to Philadelphia. On top of it, they lose Christian Watson on a non-contact injury. It doesn't look good, and Jordan Love got a little banged up. Number 2, the Patriots. They had the number 1 draft pick locked up, and then they go ahead and win this game today. They played their second-string quarterback to even further their chances of losing today, but they still managed to win the game. And in a draft with only 2 good quarterbacks, having that first pick would have been enormous for them. They could have traded that for quite the haul to a team desperate for a quarterback, and they go ahead and win it, and they fall to the 4th draft pick. Big loss, big win in a bad way for them. Number 3, the Rams. The Rams was the most questionable decision for me all weekend. They go ahead and decide to sit their starters. I did not understand it at all, knowing that if they won, they were going to get the Commanders. If they lost, they were going to get the Vikings, the loser of the Vikings and Lions game. They decide to sit their starters. They lose a game that was completely winnable with their backups all day long. And now they have the Vikings coming to town rather than the Commanders. I did not understand it at all. I still don't get it. I get it if you have players banged up, it's okay to sit them. But I don't understand why you would not go for the win and want to play the Commanders as opposed to the Vikings. And then the last one, the Steelers. No team has limped into the playoffs worse than the Steelers over the past couple weeks. They are playing absolutely awful. One of the worst 2-minute decisions, 2-minute drills I've seen in a long time. And now they're going to Baltimore in the playoffs, and they're going to be an early exit. So can't wait for the first round of the playoffs this weekend, and we'll talk to everyone Wednesday.